if you start with your problem, your customer's problem, you can lean in, right? They'll lean in to listen more. If you start talking about yourself, it's like, okay, that's good luck with that, right? So remember that this is a big takeaway is start with the problem and talk about your customer. Okay, the guide. So the hero's trying to solve a problem, and the guide is the wise one who comes alongside the hero and helps them solve it. So if you want to sell more, if you want to engage more, if you want to attract more, be the guide and invite your customer into a story. And let me show you how this goes. I promised you I'd show you a 7-part framework. So we're going to first take it from storytelling and then show you how that works for your brand. So the character, let's just say the character is your customer, right? And they have a problem. And then they meet a guide, right? They meet a guide along the way who gives them a plan of action. That's exactly what you should be doing on your website for your potential customer, and calls them to action, not just a plan and action, so that they can have the success that they're looking for and they can avoid failure. And that is the 7 parts. So we're going to go through. So what does your customer want? That's one of the first questions I ask my clients. What is that one significant thing that you hear over and over and over again? And you say, well, Carolyn, there's this, 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 this. And if you start layering on 5 different problems, they'll remember 0. I'll just tell you that right now. Our brains can't hold all of that, and we just phase out. So you're going to have to put your stake in the ground on the problem, becoming the go-to for that problem. What does your customer want? Okay. And when you're looking at that problem, we're going to look at it 3 different ways. What's happening out there, we call it the external part of your problem. The internal is how that makes them feel. Does it make them feel frustrated? Does it make them feel overwhelmed, defeated? So how does that problem affect them internally? And then 3, the philosophical, is that why is that just plain wrong, right? Why is that an injustice? This shouldn't be that way. So all of those pieces come together when we talk about our problem. And I'm going to show you in some examples how that works with website. So have you positioned yourself as the guide? So all that you write, all that copy you write on your website is through the lens of serving your client. That's it. I'm going to say that again, through the lens of serving your client and what they want. Okay. And then you create a clear, easy 3-step plan for them. Make it easy. Even if you have 17 steps to work with you, you can distill it down to 3 steps. I'll show you how that's done. So have we created that plan so that they can follow that and actually get where they want to go? But the plan is coupled with a call to action. And that should be all over your homepage. I see so many pages that have links all the way through, like learn more, explore this, read more. And every time you put a link there, you're taking them away to another page and you haven't even told your story. Let's not do that anymore. The only call to action that should be there at the first level, the first 7 steps, is a call to action to connect with you. Could be schedule a call. It could be buy this, whatever it is you're selling. Okay. And why do we do that? We are now helping our hero, our customer, imagine how their lives can be, how it improves so that they can avoid the consequences. This is a big, I'm going to just circle this here with my clicker here. So many websites do not get into the consequences or what can go wrong, right? They go right to solution. Yet, if you don't tell them the consequences of not doing what they need to do, it gets backburnered. You have to create some urgency. You have to put a little salt on the wound. Sometimes they don't even know what can go wrong. And you're the wise one that can help them not go there. So do not forget, we call it the stakes. What are the stakes if they just stay status quo, right? What can go wrong? And then you can sprinkle in what could go right if they actually made the right decision. So this is an important piece of the story, of your story. Okay. So now I'm going to take you, now we're going to take all of that and we're going to go through the 7 parts of the storytelling on an actual website. I'll go through each one of those parts and then I'll give examples along the way so you see it. So here we go. You got the header, right? That's the first thing when you get to your site, right? You have 8 seconds. Actually, Microsoft is now saying like 6 seconds to do 3 things. And one is you have to answer, what do you do? How many times do I go to a header and I'm like, what exactly are they doing? Right? I'm not, and if I have to ask these questions, right? Or what do they mean by that? You haven't hit the mark because you can't answer that question. And they'll be on to the next. So clarity is queen here. Okay. So what do you do? How do you make your customer's life better? Right? That's their life better. And then how do they buy from you? And whether it's a call, that's that direct call to action. This all is happening on your header. Okay. I want to give you an example of like a before and then there'll be an after. So this was a client of ours, right? And this was their header, right? When we first started working with them. So look at this. I just wanted to show you. This is like, that's their logo. No better chemistry. And then they repeated it here. No better chemistry. Like, now remember, we're moving fast. We're on phones and we're using our thumbs. We're scrolling. So people are reading headlines. They're not necessarily they're not going into big blocks of copy. As a copywriter, I know this, right? They're going to headlines to here, and then they're scrolling down. So this says no better. I'm just going to read it a little bit and I'm going to tell you why this isn't working. Then it says enabling safe substitution and product optimization. And then it goes on. This is all in the header. Chem Forward is a science-based nonprofit collaboration of leading brands, retailers, suppliers, and NGOs working to empower the value chain with high quality, actionable, and not to disparage it, but it's just like, whoa, too much. And I still don't know what they do and how they're going to make my life better, potential customers' life better. We need to get it clear, right? We need to distill it down. What is that makes, and that's the tricky part, but it can be done. Instead of cleverness, we love to be clever. Clarity over cleverness any day of the week. Okay. That will actually increase your sales. So then they have just saying, what do you do? Not quite sure yet. How do you make my life better? Leveraging technology to turn static data into dynamic. Like, it's so complicated. This is what we call jargon, insider language. It just doesn't work. Right? You gotta bring it down to simplicity. Even if you're talking to engineers, bring it down to simple, because we can't take all of that input in our brains, right? Especially insider and jargon language. So I still don't know how they're making my life better. And then how do I buy from them? Remember, how do I connect? So more about us. This should have said schedule a call or download our app. It's an app. You don't know that yet, right? But I'm going to show you how we transform that. But don't do, because if you have this more about us and now you're bringing me to another page and I'm repeating this point. I haven't scrolled down. I don't know what they're selling yet. And it's over here and they have a whole page to go. So this is just something to show you what was before. Okay. So some of the mistakes that you saw here, number one, it doesn't clearly say what the company does. Okay. It happens all the time. The images don't reflect your business. Insider language and jargon, that's called confusion, right? And there's a term that says when you confuse, you lose. It happens too fast on websites. And in today's soundbite society, right? So we don't want to do that. Way too much text on the homepage. If they're really interested, they'll go into your website and they'll geek out there, but not on your homepage. Don't have it happen there, because then people are not reading it that way. Okay, except for your mom, of course. Wasted words just it's got to be tight, and every word has to be meaningful and not create confusion. And we didn't see a clear call to action. It was like, learn more. That brought us somewhere else. Did not have a call to action. Okay, so this is where we were. Now I want to take a look at this just for clarity's sake on how we can transform that. Now, first of all, their customer are manufacturers of clean brands, beauty brands. An easy way to find safer chemicals for your products, the ingredients. Our cloud-based tool gives you instant access to safer ingredients based on the best science available. They have 2 calls to action here. What do? Well, they're a cloud-based tool, right? That's what they do. How they can make my life better? Well, I don't have to be a toxicologist. I can find easy ways to find my product, my ingredients that I want for really clean ingredients. And how do I buy from them? Right here. There's a get access right now. They also used to have a download the demo. That's a direct call to action. So see the difference? It's fast, and now you get what it is. Let me show you another website. This is a called Project Forest. And what they do is they plant trees in Canada and help corporations aim towards, like the sustainability director and corporations, reduce your footprint with the world's most efficient carbon capture technology. What is that? Help plant a forest that will last forever with Project Forest. So what do? They plant forests, they plant trees. How are they making my life better? Well, I can reduce my carbon footprint. They're going to help me do that. How do I buy from them? I can fund a forest, or I can schedule a call with them. Bam, done. So that is what we're doing in our header. Now we're for the stakes. What is the stake if your customers don't buy your product or service? Okay. Remember what I said? You have to let them know. This is where you could create a sense of urgency. Okay. Don't go right to solution now. What problem is your customer facing? What pain points are you helping them to avoid? How is that problem making them feel? Remember those 3 part of it? And why is that just plain wrong? That's the philosophical. So if you don't talk about your customer's problem, they won't be listening. I'll say that again. If you don't talk about their problem, they're not listening. If you're talking about you all the time, this includes nonprofits. Talk to your donor. Your donor is your customer. So make sure you have a page for that so they understand. Okay. So here's an example, right? This is actually from my website, right? Marketing. And this is the statement. Your business is too important to be lost in the crowd. Remember, we're talking about the stakes. And here's some questions. Are you struggling to find the right words, right? Are you confusing your customers with jargon? Are you being heard above the noise? Have you spent a small fortune on marketing and still not getting the results you want? So what we're peppering that. So they're going, yeah, they can see themselves in that. This is about them. It's not about our company. Here's another client. They do adventure travel vacations for families, right? And this was their stakes section. This moment in time will never come again, right? They're showing kids and their family and their ages, right? This will never come again. What are you waiting for? Right? So that's the point where we might be stirring the heartstrings. This is not about doom and gloom. This is about showing some sense of urgency. Okay. So that is our second section here. Okay. 3, we're coming down, right? We're telling the story. How are you making my life better? What's the stakes if you just stay status quo? And now we get to the value proposition. This is where you can shine, right? What benefits? What are the benefits that your customers will get if they do business with you, if they buy your product or service? List them all out, right? You can name them all out and then pick those three or four compelling ones, right? That set you apart from your competition or the rest. And I'll show you some examples of that. You can use icons and images here in this section, right, to illustrate it more clearly. Here's what we did for Project Forest. We repeated, right, reduce your footprint with a forest. And this is they've had 4 value props, which was we make it easy to grow a forest. There's a bit of copy there. We work with indigenous communities. That's really important to their customer who wants to begin working with some of the tribes or indigenous or nations. They have access, right? They'll be able to have access through Project Forest. We promise permanence. Doesn't mean that forest is not going to become a football field or a mall someday. That's important. And then they put sustainability at the center. So these are the pieces that make Project Forest stand out compared to other organizations that do this. Here's what we did. These are just some examples. Fusion power, a type of clean energy power. Some of you may know it. It's not fission, nuclear fission, which we all know what it is. It's actually there's no blowing up that happens with fusion, but it's completely emissions free, right? So it's really starting to educate the public about this. So fusion power is the answer, which was to climate change. That's what the stakes were. But here's some of the things: 0 earth harming greenhouse gases, 0 chance of a nuclear meltdown, $5 billion to date in research, and the target date for it to become online is 2030. It used to be the joke about fusion was that it was always 30 years out. Well, it's not anymore. So do you see these are the the whys of doing business with you? Okay, we have the first 3 sections, and now we come to the guide section, and that is you. All right. Position yourself as the guide to your customers and your customer's story. There's 2 big pieces in this section I want to talk about. One is called empathy. If you know this problem, right, let them know you know it and you get it. You get their problem. Maybe you've been there before. Let them know that. So they're like, wow, she or he gets what this is all about. So that's that empathy piece. And then show your authority, right? This is where the cred comes in. So how can you assure your customer that you know what's going to help them, that you know what you're doing is going to help them with their problem? Empathy, authority in the guide section. And the copy, the words should be about them. When I say about them, you can put in those credibility pieces, but it's on behalf of them and their story. Okay. So reinforce it with testimonials. So you can have your guide section and then sprinkle in those testimonials, people bragging on you, right? Nothing better than that. People read testimonials. That's why, Amazon is all about that. All those reviews and testimonials are really important. So you want to do that right on your website and have it right there in your guide section. Okay, so here's an example. Back to Project Forest. They planted 2 billion trees and counting. So definitely has that credibility piece, right? Notice that there's call to action is showing up everywhere on the page. And then you scroll down a little further, and there's a fantastic, they have many of them there. These are arrows, but this is a testimonial. I love the fact that the people of Project Forest are willing to do things that will mainly benefit future generations. And that came from a project they did on Swan River First Nation, right? Beautiful. And they had many more of those. So that is what the guide section. Here's for the fusion industry. They put the stake in the ground here, and they just said, we are the voice of the private fusion industry. And they are. Right? And so there's a lot of authority that came in through there. And in the copy, you'll see also there's the credibility and the empathy part that lives that. So this is where you get to talk about yourself on behalf of your customer. Okay. We're rolling now, and I just want to keep it going because there's these 7 sections. I hope I'm not overwhelming you, but I'll show you how this all lays out really beautifully to tell your story so easy, right, on your homepage so they get it. And then you can have interior pages to explain the rest. The plan. Remember I said the plan of action? Give them a plan. Simple 3-step plan. So that shows them how simple it is to do business with you. Lay it out. Give your plan a headline, right? Make sure you have a headline. Don't just put our services or the plan, right? Have a compelling benefit-driven headline. So for example, back to Project Forest, your plan to leave a legacy in Canada. Number one is their call to action. Schedule a call with us. And 2, you will reduce your carbon footprint naturally by helping plant a forest. And 3, what is the result? You get champion of the environment. The fusion industry, your plan to be a driving force in the clean energy transition, which is happening right now. And they had number 1, subscribe to our newsletter, right? And get up, and just don't put subscribe to our newsletter. Why do I want another newsletter? Okay, you have to give them that so that they can what? So that they can get industry updates and learn about fusion energy's climate and economic benefits. Okay, 2, become a member and connect. Why? With world-leading private fusion companies. 3, that is the outcome. Be a leader, right, in this transition. So do you see how that works? Give them a 3-step plan. This next section is called the explanatory. Okay, now when we're coming down the page, we get to this is where you can elaborate a little bit. It also doubles as your elevator pitch because in it is 3 parts: problem, solution, result. And you can say it in 10 seconds. It's a great exercise to do because people ask you, what do you do? Start with the problem. What's happening in your customer's life and how you're the solution to that. So it gives them an option. You can do read more here. A lot of times this will go right to your about page. And like I said, it could be your elevator pitch as well. So let me show you. I'll break it down for you to show you how it actually works as a pitch. So this is Project Forest, and the headline is Combat Climate Change from the Ground Up. What's the problem? It's in the first sentence here. With the escalation of climate change, so many companies worry that they're not doing enough on the ground to combat its effects. Problem. We heard it right from the mouth of some of their leaders. Next part, solution. At Project Forest, we've perfected a system where businesses and individuals can reduce their carbon footprint naturally by planting a forest. That's the solution. The result, it's leaving a legacy. You'll be proud of this for generations to come. Do you see how that? It's 10 seconds, problem, solution, results. And you can click a read more. But you don't want those read mores before you tell them all the story that we're framing right now. Okay. But you can place it here because we're coming to wrapping up the story with one more section. Okay. And here we go. Is the lead generator. So many websites I see do not have a compelling something to capture your emails. Right? So important. You own an email. You don't own social media, right? You want to capture an email so that you have it, right? So an algorithm happens and you don't lose it. Okay. Really important. But people don't want another email, right? Give emails out so easily today. So it has to be compelling. It has to be something they're looking for, and it has to be targeted. So in order for someone to give you the email, you have to give them something of high value in exchange. Okay. Why would they come to your website and then you lose them? You don't even get it. If you get the email now, you can nurture them. Sometimes they'll take 6 months to buy from you, sometimes a year. If you don't have an email address, you can't do anything. So you really want to work at getting that. Okay. Let me give you some types. PDF, download a PDF. Super easy to do. A webinar series, speaking. You can grab email addresses there when you do that as well, and then nurture them along the way. A checklist, 10 simple steps if you're buying your house for the first time and how to avoid getting ripped off. right? So I just made that up and, spontaneously, but a checklist, audio or video, articles and ebooks, fantastic quizzes. You've seen them. You got sucked into them, I'm sure, or contests. For those who have products, free samples for sure are a great way. So Fusion Energy, they do this every year. They do an annual global vision industry report, and people want it. When I first met them, they had this report buried inside on some page, or I think it was, an about page. And it was way at the bottom, and they didn't ask for email address. And the first thing I said is just get their email. If this is a positive effort that you do every year, make them download their email. Well, first of all, we put it on the first page, and then we put it in the footer across all pages, right? So no matter what page you went to, it was there. And then they had to get an email, and they tripled. In less than 3 months, they tripled their mail list. So really important. So this is an idea, right? This is something that we have on our site, which you're welcome to. Download our free PDF, 6 website messaging tips from sustainability pros to grow your business. So we were going after sustainability. It's a great way to target too. You can do many of these, right? Targeting to that customer that you're going for. Okay. So don't forget your lead generator. Let me just show you how this all hangs together. I want to go to the websites now. So this is coming to your header. I showed you this earlier, right? And you're scrolling down. Here is what we call a value stack. It's just some more messaging. And then we come to their stakes. Your business is too important to be put at risk. And here's some questions that they ask, right? Coming further down, and then they get to the value proposition. Reduce your footprint with a forest. Boom, 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 boom. People are reading these little headlines, right? As they're scanning. They may not get into the copy right now. They're scanning through. And now we come to the guide section, 2 billion trees and counting, where they reinforce the credibility of the organization. Okay. They have some testimonials along the way. Here's their plan section. 3 ways, your plan to leave a legacy in Canada. Number 1, number 2, and number 3. And then we have testimonials that reinforce working with them. They sprinkled a few statistics in there. And then here's the explanatory paragraph that has the problem, solution, result right in there. Okay. And then they had a lead generator here. Now, you can, just so you know, after you've told there's that 7 sections. After you've done that, you can add to that. You can put your social media in there. You can put your blog in there. You can put articles in there. You can put your media that you were in there. But don't do this after you've told their story, right? So they get it. They're going to want to open that up now. Okay. So they chose to they just did a quote right there. Okay. And then you get to their footer. Let me show you really quickly to the Fusion. The future is Fusion, how we did it here. Okay. Come right to the header. What do you do? How do you make my life better? How do you buy? Here's the stakes. Our climate and energy crisis are the greatest threats of our time. We need to accelerate our transition to safe and sustainable energy. This is the urgency that we're dealing with. And then we get to the value proposition section. I told you about this and why Fusion. Okay. Now we get to the guide section and some quotes along the way. Keep on scrolling. Here's my 1, 2, 3 plan, right? And there's more quotes in here. These were quick links. And then here's our explanatory paragraph, their lead generator, and then we get to the footer. So those 7 parts are actually embedded in here. So by the time you've gone through that, you get it. And then you can go deeper into their website. Okay. It's such a lost opportunity if you don't do this on your homepage, because they may never continue. Okay. They may just get out. So give them the story. Those are 2 examples I want to show you. Before we go, I want to go back to the slides. We had a volunteer of someone that's in the audience, Rachel, and we're going to she said, would you look at my website and see how some improvements we can do on their homepage? And we're going to do that live right here. But let me just give you some takeaways before we do that. Number one, your customer's the hero. You're the guide, right? I know I've reinforced that 100 times. If you don't talk about your customer's problems, they won't listen. Remember, it's about them. Capture their email, right? That's why you can nurture them. If they don't buy from you right now, you can nurture them along the way. And many do. Make sure you do that. It helps build trust and reciprocity. And then execute the 7 parts, right? I promise you, even if you do 1, 2, or 3 of them, you will see an uptick in your website. Okay. It will help grow your business or your nonprofit. So those are the big, I wanted to just anchor that for you, the big takeaways. So what I'd like to do is go to Rachel Robinson's website. Okay. And Rachel, hi. Thank you so much. Feel free to unmute yourself. I'm going to ask you some questions along the way, right? And she's got a lot of good things going on here. Some things just need to be reordered, all right? So I want to first start with your header, right? So take a look at this. Now, everyone, right? Remember what we talked about. There's what we call hierarchy, like of the message. First thing you see is ray of justice. That is her main message. I don't know what that means yet because that's your logo. That's the name of your business, right? And it belongs here. I would actually, but your main message to the customer, is a voice for those who don't have one. This should be here. Okay. And then with a subhead, a little description. I'm going to go a little further down because this is what we have here. She has that she helps. I didn't know that. I had to go down and read the little fine print here to see what does she actually do. She helps. She's an advocate for victims of crime, right? She helps heal and obtain justice for victims of crime. That is what she does. So I want to see a voice for those who don't have one with a subhead underneath that says that helping victims of crime heal and obtain justice. Oh, now I get it, right? So, and then this part here, Rachel, this can come down like we call it at the bottom of the header. The words are value stack. They're additional information. You can bring that down here so that I'm reading your headline, your logo's up here, right? Smaller up there, but I want to see the marketing message, which is you're a voice for those who don't have one and you're helping victims of crime. I get it. Okay. And then all of this can go right under that. Okay. In the smaller print like you have. So that's the first thing I would do here with your messaging. Now she has learn more. Now, if I click learn more, I'm going to go over somewhere else, right? Probably. We don't want to do that yet. I want you to tell the story of you, of what your customer needs. So don't do a learn more so soon. I would like to see, what do you want your customer to do? What is that call to action? My guess, it would be schedule a call with you, right? Or schedule a conversation or book a session, whatever that direct call to action is, not a passive one, an active one. And that is what I would have here. Save your learn mores for after you've told your story. Okay. Now I'm scrolling down. Remember, the next section is the stakes. What are the stakes? If that person doesn't do anything, I bet you know what those are, Rachel, right? Because you live and breathe this. So I would say, get that right here. This is creating some urgency. First of all, it's already an urgent situation, that you deal with. But you also want to have them, by the questions you ask or the bullets, they're going to see themselves in that. They're going to go, yeah, that's me, right? So create some sense of urgency with your stakes section, and that should be next. Then you come to the solution. You come to your value proposition on how you can help. Okay? That's what I want to see next. And then she has this, the role of this is a good piece of copy, but it should be embedded in elsewhere. Okay. She comes now to her next section, which is the guide section. Later on, you'll see the value prop. She has it further down. Here, I would like to first, I still want to see how she's helping me. And then we come to meet Rachel. Rachel, this is what I would do here. I love this. A woman in your corner. That should be the headline. And then you have underneath that a little bit smaller, not as small as this, then I would have meet Rachel W. Robinson. Okay. Because a woman in your corner is about them. Remember I said, even in your guide section, you want it to be about your customer, your client. So just do that. You might want to start. All of this is really good information, but I'd start with a little empathy, and boy, oh boy, your clients need that. Give me a sentence on that. You get me. Okay. And then come in with your authority, which is all here. Like, I'm like, oh yeah, she's got it going on. I feel really confident she can help me. So this is good. Don't do learn more, schedule a call right here. Okay. And then I love the video. Videos are fantastic. You can have, want to see some testimonials. You don't have to put the real person's name in there, but let me get some testimonials too. Videos are perfect. You come into our services, that's your product section or services. I didn't mention that in the 7. You totally can be in part of that. I would just want a benefit-driven headline, right? Why are they so great? Okay. You have a 1, 2, 3. And this might be your value prop, right? But this is telling me what you do. I want the headline to be about me. Okay. How it makes my life better. Learn more about our services. There's learn more again. Media, great. Further down, I want you to do your plan. What's the plan? 1, schedule call. 2, what will happen what are you going to do to see if you're a right fit? There'll be an intake. 3, what happens next? So give me a plan of action, simple plan, and then a lead generator. Now, what you don't see here, everyone, is that when you get to her site, there's a pop-up. You have a pop-up that it was a really good lead generator, right? And I forget the headline right now. Do you want to just say what that is, Rachel?
It says, please send me a complimentary guide to victim rights. And I think underneath it says like your first step in empowering and educating yourself to be armed with the knowledge to something with the justice system. Yeah.
Yeah, that is so good. Okay. So pop-ups work, but the problem with the pop-up is that I didn't, I exited out fast, right? Because I wanted to learn more about you. So keep the pop-up, but repeat it on your page. Remember that report, put it down here again. And I frankly would have it on every page so that you just get that email address because it's a really good lead generator. Okay. But keep it on your page as well. So for the sake of time, I just want to come back. There we go. Right. If you would like me to review your page, right. Or just you reach out to me. Okay. And I'll give you my email address and I'll get you on my calendar. Okay. So I'll be happy to go through and give you some hints and some pieces that can help you, right? Tell your story well. You might feel that's not what you need right now, but you have another marketing or messaging issue, there's social media or an email campaign. So you can schedule a free one-on-one with me around that too. And then I'm just going to move really fast with a shameless plug with an upcoming webinar that we're doing called Sheroes on a Mission, right? You'll get a clear vision for your life and your mission and a plan that goes with it, right? So it's a full day workshop that's happening on December 8th. You can contact me around that. And for this sake, I'm not going to go through all this, what you get, but you will walk away with clarity on what you want in your life, right? And the way to go, knowing exactly what to focus on, what's most important to you. and finally making meaningful progress no matter what's going on in your life. So if you just want more information on that, reach out to me. Here's my email address, cpars@mindovermarkets.com. I'm in the WOVA app as well. You can reach out to me there. So just there's lots of ways to get in touch with me. Okay. But cpars@mindovermarkets.com. That's my website.